You want to talk here for a bit?
Sure.
It's actually fitting because this is where Lane actually found me when I went into the ICU.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What's happened then?
it's just like a bunch of stuff bottled up, and I started to feel very withdrawn, and I couldn't talk to anyone, and I forgot to eat, and it became very dark. I passed out, and somehow I landed in the water, and yeah, came here to think about how majority of the time I come here alone.
Mm, okay. Was there any events that's happened that's sets this feeling to you?
Um, kind of. Um, I had like met up with like a bunch of Cerberus people like a few days prior to that, and Lang had like done this like very like awkward thing where he would ask me how Luciano was, even though he knew how Luciano was because he sees Luciano more than I do, and I brought that up. And then he did this thing where he said, well, he doesn't see him. Then he asked me, like, don't you see him, Eve? And then I wasn't gonna lie because I don't see Luciano. And kind of set me off because I've had a lot of conversations with Luciano about the amount of time that I don't get to see him. And it's always a me problem. And the thing with Lang is when he says things like that, he might just be stirring to stir. But I've known him long enough when he says things like that, there's truth behind his words. So I texted Luciano during like the whole survival. This was during survival, like the middle of it, because I was actively like texting him updates of like what was going on. And I texted him like, if I don't see you, and if Lang doesn't see you, who sees you? Like if Lang doesn't know what he's doing with his time and that time's been spent with me, like what is he actively choosing to do that isn't, time spent towards me? So it kind of like set me off, and we had this huge fight in our text messages, um, where he basically said that whatever he does is never good enough for me, and it never will be, and it's the same shit, just a different day, because that's how a majority of our conversations have been going. It's just I talk about how you know I just want a bit of his time, and he can't meet that requirement, and then he racks it up to, well, he saw me like a day ago, why isn't that good enough, kind of deal. And then it just, repeats the next week again because you know what, it wasn't good enough. Because at some point, I turned into a chore for him. So I thought about all these things, and I thought about, why do I have to beg him to want to spend time with me? Why do I have to end my day staring at a place where we both want to live alone every single day? And I, every time I try to open up about these issues, I talked to Kitty one day, and Kitty thought she was helping by talking to Luciano about it. And instead of, taking Kitty's advice, he got mad at it and told me to stop airing our dirty laundry to people. So I stopped talking to people about what was upsetting me because I couldn't bring it up to him because he would get defensive and I would shut down. And it would just be the same cycle. Nothing, we'd never work through anything. So that is why I ended up on this beach feeling the way I did. And I ended up in the ICU. And apparently he had received a very hard words from multiple people while I was in the ICU blaming him for why I ended up there, because even though I didn't talk to a lot of people, Nancy had been back in town for 2 or 3 days and I didn't talk to her at all about what was happening. And she basically read him his rights towards the way he was treating me. And I think he took that as that I was, still airing out dirty laundry when I wasn't, because as much as I kept on telling him, everybody around him and us could see that the way things were, he would not, take that and do better. So I wake up from the ICU and we meet up the day after. And it's one of the most confusing talks I've ever had with him, where I asked him to man the fuck up and do better. And then he told me to take my own advice, which I don't really understand why he said that. And he told me he'd rather let me go because he does not want to see me suffer anymore and that I deserve better. So instead of being better and meeting the bar that I've set so fucking low, he just decided to give up. And he walked away from me.
What was it you exactly were asking? Was it like, what was your bar?
I asked him for consideration of his time, to give a bit of that to me. Because I don't think asking him for 5 minutes of his time to end his day with me is a lot, Lottie. That's all I asked for. I asked for that, and so that we can call each other our home, and he couldn't even give me that. It's all I ever asked for. It's really
Sorry.
it. It's really it. And he started doing that thing where if I spent the day previously with you, and he measures that with, it was the day that he got voted off with Survivor and he decided to stay for an hour extra. He said, I spent that day with you. Why is that not good enough? And I realized that I started to feel like a chore to him, something that he had to get done. I was no longer a priority that he wanted and needed to be with. I was just a chore to him. And I've come to that realization that I was either that or I was just a convenience at some point too when him or the crew needed something and he would remember that I existed. So him saying that he can't give me what I deserve, I feel like that is him copping out of something extremely easy to fulfill, something that he promised me in his vows. That was inscribed in our rings that he would love me forever and even after death. And he just left. And then I asked him, are you about to prove everybody right when they called you a bad and terrible husband? And he still walked away. He was more concerned with his image of how people portrayed him when I told him the way it makes me feel when people in his crew call me and ask if we're still married. I told him that people say these things and how it makes me feel, and instead of asking and validating my feelings, he asked me to name names. He was never concerned about my feelings. He was just concerned about how it made him look. And I hate that I have to say all these things because I never thought that he would do any of this. Because I would never have married that man if I thought that he would ever break my heart. I would have never opened up my heart if I didn't feel like I didn't deserve his love. Just for him to walk away from it. I would have never put myself through this. If he was willing to walk away. He's not the same person that I married 6 years ago. He's not the same person that we spent 5 years in Italy with. He just isn't anymore, Lottie. He would rather get into his next gang war and be more concerned about that than anybody around him that he cared for. And that's the truth. And the coldest thing that he said to me, so I stood in front of him and I asked him something, and he looked me in the eyes and he said something along the lines with, and what does Eve Summers think? And that hurt so much.
Wait, what does that mean?
He already took the family name away from me by saying that.
Oh. Oh.
And the way he said that with so much coldness in his heart, it cut me into 1,000 pieces.
When did they say that? Because it sounds like he must have made decision then.
This happened on what, Friday? Thursday? I don't remember. like Thursday. Thursday. He said that the week that I was in the ICU was the worst week of his life. It was hell for him.
Why was it all for him?
I asked him that. I asked him that, and he wouldn't give me a direct answer. He said that it was the thought of losing me, and then he tried to victim blame himself of me being in the hospital, and I tried to take that away from him. I told him my actions and me ending up in the hospital does not equate to you putting me there. I made those choices. I actively decided not to eat. That's on me. But he still just put it on himself. But I still don't understand how he would ever think that. How he would just ever think and how he was feeling to just walk away from me, seeing me almost die, and then think it would be better to just leave me.
So I've noticed something with him. He acts a lot different when he feels like he is persecuted by people. It was the same during the Italian thing with Vito. You know, people thinking that he pushed Vito. You remember how he lashed out with this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like a lot of people were kind of lashing out at him, holding him accountable for what happened with you and how he has been treating during marriage, right? I think I saw a different side of him during the Italian drama. And maybe that same side is coming out right now. And that side isn't necessarily pretty, but it is born from fear. And it kind of sounds like he almost cut you off before you could do the same.
Never had strength to leave him or choose better for myself. He was always gonna have to be the one to do it. I was never gonna walk away from this because I never give up on anything. I believe there's always a option to do better for another person, for yourself, for each other. Even if it's not the conventional way, but I don't believe in giving up on people. And it hurts so much that he would just give up on me. Or even just that he doesn't think he's capable of, in his words, giving me what I deserve. What's the saying? If they wanted to, they would. I just don't think he wanted to anymore. I just think he was just genuinely tired of having me around. That just feeds my self doubt of that he just, of why he didn't want to spend time with me, why he didn't want to have a home with us, with me, here in this spot, why he never wanted to, come back and build an empire with us. Just feeds the self doubt of that. I don't think I was never good enough. It's just that there was something better out there that he wanted, and that was never going to include us. And then something that just plays with my head is that Marlo calls me yesterday, and he says that as soon as the universe is laughing at us because I had brought up the idea of, you know, how Carlo thought that having a house would save the Italians? Like a, you
Yeah.
know, I brought up that idea that, you know, us having a mutual place where I know he would be sometimes and he knew I would be healthy for us. And I said that would be too much. And you know what he told me?
What?
He said, you can live alone in Chumash with the fucking Raiders. That's what he told me.
Why did you say that?
Ask him. Ask him why he said. Because he, like I said, he does not want this, Lottie. He's never wanted this. That's why he never made an effort to save up for a house. That's why he always has no money. Because he never wanted anything more than what he's doing right now from day to day. And then yesterday I get a call from Marlo. So after the day after we have that conversation where he leaves me, the Chumash houses go up for sale. Such a fucking joke. The world is just laughing at me and my misery. And Marlo calls me yesterday and says, we talk about the Chumash houses and he asks me, are we getting one? Because Luciano called for a loan. And I'm like, what do you mean Luciano called for a loan? Said, yeah, Luciano was inquiring like how much a loan would be if he wanted a Chumash house. And I'm like, when did he call? He said like the day the Chumash houses came available. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I told him that like we separated. And Marlo's like, he thought that the house would be for us. And I said, no, this man told me to come and live alone in Chumash. He does not want to be here. And I don't understand why he would do that. Out of spite? Out of maliciousness? I don't understand. I'm so confused by that action of why he would do that. Like one last slap in my face? Like I don't understand. Because it's definitely not for me. It would have never been for me. I was always going to buy a house here with or without him. But he would not do the same. So I don't understand that action. He's the one who left me, so I don't understand why he would do anything spiteful towards me. Because that hurts. Him denying me a house with him and then going and doing it anyway hurts.
Doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. None of this makes sense, but I'm surprisingly okay. I I I'm not gonna beg a man to love me. I'm not gonna beg somebody to want to spend time with me. I am better than that and I deserve more than that.
So do you agree with him when he say you deserve better?
I think it's a cop out that he thinks that him leaving is better because that's weak.
Well, I mean, I might agree with you there, but taking away what his goals were in doing that, taking away, you know, how much hurt you feel by this action, just a simple question of, do you deserve better than what you are getting from him?
Yes, he should have done better. I did everything I could. The only way that it would have worked if I just stopped trying, Lottie. That is how it would have been better in his terms, if I had just stopped trying. Maybe he would have been content with that. And then he said he tried. I saw no effort.
So if he didn't want to give or could not give what you wanted, and you do deserve better, maybe it is time that you find better. All of this hurt so much, and that isn't taking away from your heart. I don't want to, make it seem that way, because I felt I don't know exactly how you're feeling, because I can't imagine marrying someone and having them, give up and walk away. But during that Italian thing, opening up to him before and then it feeling like he walked away, it hurt so much. And that was the first time that my trust was broken with that. And I see it's happening to you over and over. I don't know what happened to what he was saying when we first got here. I had so much hope, and even in Little Italy, there was so much hope. You two were powerful people. You two are very strong people who can do great things, and I had so much hope for the three of us together too with my goals. And all of that fell apart the moments that he chose himself over anyone else. I don't think that he will be able to make a choice for anyone else.
I don't think we ever asked him to make a choice for anybody else. I think we just asked him to not forget about us. And he did that anyway. He pushed us to the side for the sake of his own goals when we were there to still support his goals and be part of it. And in his world, there was, in his words, he always referred to me as oil and water, something that could never mix. Which I never thought. Oh shit, my mouse died.
Those boys are
Stop!
very secretive when they are part of something, right? You are either in or out.
My fucking
And
mouse
if
died.
you are not a part of whatever they're doing, they have to guard you against it and push you away. You'll never be able to get close enough because, I don't know. I think before we were part of Little Italy, at least a little bit.
I don't know what the
He
last
might
thing
have
is
the
I
same people
said.
around from Little Italy working with him, right? But we're not there. And there's always going to be some level of distance that he believes that he has to keep in order to protect his values and how you work in a gang or family or whatever. And it seems like those
Okay.
values necessitate having us in that place, being set aside.
Which is funny because he had this big speech to me when we had one of our fights where he told me that I'm not anyone, I'm not everyone, I am everything, and I'm everything that he's had the past 5 years, and that he wouldn't risk mixing oil and water and losing me. Because if he had to, he'd put a bullet in everybody else's head and he wouldn't be able to do it to me. So, in terms of sharing that information, he would never want it to come from his mouth. So, he didn't care how much information I got from other people. He just never wanted to be the one who had to pull the trigger, which I understand. But then I have people like Lang who's texting me after this separation, and he literally tells me, "Sorry, I'm busy robbing a bank with your husband."
Oh, yes, I have to be honest, I feel like there's such a difference in how people in that group seem to want to keep secrets because I know a lot of stuff because people just tell me and
Yeah,
it isn't
same.
that important. But for him, I think he is still stuck in the Little Italy feeling of needing to keep very secrets and being very worried about that.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not really fair to the people around him because I think a big roadblock for me was when I do spend time with him, I couldn't talk to him about how his day was, and he probably robbed 3 banks that day, and he doesn't want to tell me about it. He doesn't want to share that experience with me, which was unfortunate. Even though, you know, I know he's been doing that. I know from everybody in his crew. I spent more time the past month talking to Harry in 30 to 40-minute phone calls than I ever did talking to Luciano in the past month.
Do you think it is possible that he is doing this because he genuinely wants better for you and wants to protect you? Because from the outside looking in, it seems as if he believes that there needs to be this separation for you so that he doesn't have to hurt you, right? It seems like he is very focused on this gang and his core values need to have him turn in on himself and keep you separate from that. And that is causing the issue with not spending time, not getting close, all of this. And instead of seeing you suffer continually with that, something he feels as if he can't give up. He wants you to be with something better.
That is, I feel like that is what he meant by he didn't want to see me suffer. So he would rather let me go than see me suffer every day trying to have him meet whatever requirements I have. So it is probably the former, but I really don't feel like I asked for too much, Lottie.
I don't think you did either, but I think that's what did they call it back in the day? It was some word. Um they explained it to me. You explained it to me too. It was like omito or something.
Omerta?
That's like yeah, maybe that's that idea of what stays in a family, it stays in a family kind of thing.
Yeah, but that has to do with cops and law enforcement. But it's I guess it's the same concept of like information sharing.
Yes, but yes, and I think in general, like even when I was in Little Italy, they all were very nervous about saying anything, even the smallest little thing, because it would go against their core values of what it meant to be in family.
Well, Vito didn't care about that.
Well, obviously people pick and choose when to listen to these core values, but Luciano was always someone who didn't seem to be that way. He was very, very nervous, when we said something about poaching. He was very nervous about even just mentioning. I mentioned something the other day about, what I knew, and he was very weirded out about it. Even though it wasn't from him, I learned all this stuff. It was from people just talk and talk and talk. But it seems like he sticks very, very hard to that value to the point of it being almost self-destructive for every other relationship in his life besides that gang. And
I understand it. I do.
I do think that you deserve better than that. I think he sees that, and I think you see that. And I think he believes that he cannot change that. I think you are not asking for much, but in his eyes, you are asking for something different. You're asking maybe to break that when you're just asking for time, a house here to come home at night, you know, some sort of feeling of connection.
What happened to core values in the in the vows he took for our marriage 6 years ago? What happened to prioritizing that at some point? What happened to compromise? All of those things that should come naturally to loving me and loving each other. And I just feel like he gave up. Yes, is it to protect me? Yes, but I'm not going to make excuses for somebody who walked away and continued to hurt me.
No, I
Because
agree.
I'll always think about why couldn't he just be what I deserve? Because I thought that he was. Like I said, I would not have married him if I thought that he would let me down as much as he has. And I genuinely don't think that the way he treats me, I don't think he treats anybody else this way. The secretiveness, anything else. He told me when he left the Italians that he didn't want to be a leader anymore. He was tired of being a leader. He didn't want the internal drama. He didn't want all of these things. And guess what? Just doing it all again. Differences were not there. Guess what? He lied. He poached Vito. We all knew it. I don't know what kept him from telling us. Was it his pride, or was it the fact that he was still trying to be secretive about brew business? That again, Glorion keeps on telling people like Donnie and Gigi, we don't care. I will scream it into the ocean. We don't fucking care about your crew business. We don't. We literally do not give a single fuck. Everybody does the same thing. Everybody has a weed operation in their fucking basement. Everybody does moonshine. Everybody does heist. Everybody robs the fucking bank. Who fucking cares? I know how Lang operates. Everybody at Frank's, guess what? Everybody works for him in an operation. Layer of an onion. That is how Lang's operation works. And somehow when Luciano talks to me, he acts like I'm a fucking idiot, that I don't know these things. When I built Lang's empires.
Wait, so if I work at Frank, does that mean I'm in the gang?
Yeah, you wanna go push? Have you thought about pushing weed for them at all?
No, no.
Well, I said the chances are.
No, I mean, I agree. I feel like I saw this and it doesn't take away the hurt or what he could have done better or what could have been better throughout this.
Sorry, guys.
But it does sound
Outburst.
like you deserve better, and
Sorry, guys. That was an outburst.
I'm sorry you're having to go through this to find it.
I told Marty yesterday, like, I'm generally, like, okay. I'm okay with I'm okay with his choice. I might not understand it completely, but I understand the way you see it, and I would think that he thinks the same way. But in my mind, self-doubt is just that. The self-doubt of not being good enough, the self-doubt of why why somebody just couldn't have tried harder. That is just what's probably gonna follow me around for a while. And it sucks, but I've honestly been through worse. Which is weird to say because you'd think your husband leaving you would be horrible, but traumatically, I have been mentally through a lot worse. Because I feel like maybe I haven't processed it yet, but I feel like this was coming for a while now. So I feel like I've majorly dealt with a lot of the feelings already. And I feel like it'll be okay.
You are strong. You will get through this. But allow yourself to be hurt to do what you need to do to take care of this.
Yeah. I made a calendar invite.
Oh?
I invited him for 4 months from now. You know, I'm taking the Juno route.
Oh, okay. You're going to stab him 4 months from now?
Potentially, yeah. Think about it. Location is too
Okay.
much, yeah. I'll think about it.
Okay. Okay.
See how I
I'll
feel in
put
four
that on my
months.
calendar too.
Mm.
I'm sure I have some bandage ready or something.
But yeah, I just never thought that this could happen. I don't know. I just don't want to deal with like the toxicness, so I just don't want that to be like I just don't want that to be like drama or like toxicness of us. I just want to move on, and you know I'm queen of the north and he's king of the south, whatever. I just want to move on. No number. It's either Johnny trolling me or hello.
Hello, is this Eve?
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, I have a few questions for you if you have some time.
Okay.
Well, my first question is, do you have games on your phone?
Yeah.
Do you think if we ever met each other, I could play the games on your phone?
Maybe.
My mom will let me play Roblox on my iPad.
Yeah, sure, you can borrow my phone.
Um, my second question is, do you know who Luciano is?
Yeah, why?
Well, I was getting a hot dog or a pizza from him, and he was being really mean about you, and he said how he dumped you.
Oh, you what?
How he dumped you.
Okay.
Is that true? Did he hurt your feelings?
Yeah, I'm so heartbroken about it.
Well, he's a bully, and I'm gonna write a Twitter thread about him, okay?
Oh my god, thank you. You're such a girl's girl.
No problem. I will see you later.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully.
Oh, okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
What's that?
Me saying that I don't want to deal with toxicness and drama, and Paris Argo calling me and asking if I know a Luciano and that they were saying mean things to about me at the hot dog stand. And Paris is Carmela's friend, and Carmela had the hots for Luciano all the time that we were together. So
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
Carmela told me to tell her when you two broke up.
yeah, Carmela only ever wanted Luciano because he was unavailable. That's what made him like hot to her. So I don't know what she's gonna do now.
Guess we'll have to see.
And she likes rich men, so I also don't know what she's gonna do about that. And if she wants to be disappointed, then I guess Carmela, has found the right man.
I actually like Carmela. I liked her in Survivor. Mm. I want to hear what Luciano has to say too. That's okay.
Love a good girl's girl
Especially about
who
the
doesn't
loan.
prey on emotional women. Emotional, broken down woman. I'll call you back in a bit then. Just having a conversation.
Okay, I was just gonna check on you.
No, you're good.
All right.
I
Yeah, have a good one.
appreciate you. Like, hopefully that twat makes Carmela feel bad about being a bitch.
Wait, so Carmela was saying
Oh, Carmela's
that
Paris is the best friend, so
she retweeted it.
she was definitely calling Paris, on behalf of her. And then she asked me, "Is it true that Luciano dumped your ass?"
Oh,
Yeah. But the best thing that you can do for people like that is just not pay attention to them and show them that you do not give a fuck. So yeah, that's usually what I do to Carmela. I do admire Carmela though. She always gets what she wants and does it in extreme ways, and she looks really good doing it. Yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see, hope you get your answers from Luciano. I mean, hopefully the read you have on him right now is exactly what you have. He gives you the answers that you already, think you have, because I I feel I feel okay. I know I'm gonna be okay. I have amazing friends in my life. I have amazing family. And I know that they would drop everything and anything to help me and be with me. And I'm very grateful for that. And I feel very pathetic for wishing that a majority of the time, that would be Luciano, that I could call like Glorion and ask him to clear his whole day and spend his time with me, and he would say yes.
I like Glorian.
And he would do that for me. He would no matter what he had planned for the day, he would drop it all for me. Same with Alex, same with anybody. Marty, Alice, just literally everybody. I can name anybody. And they would do it for me.
Marty Bank?
No. Marty Holiday Pack.
Oh, okay. I don't think I know him.
Like I can ask any of those people to do that. And so many times I wished, why couldn't Luciano do that for me? And at the end of the day, if he wanted to, he would. And I'm okay with the fact that he doesn't want to. And I'm not gonna sell myself short because I know that I have amazing people who see value in me and who find me funny and who want to spend that time with me because they get enrichment in their lives for it. And if one person couldn't find that, then I don't think I lost anything. I'm not gonna beg for somebody's time.
Yes, I agree. I think you also need to listen when people tell you about themselves, you know? If someone says that you deserve better than them, they know best because they are themselves. You do deserve better. And maybe he could have given you better, but the reality of the situation is that you aren't going to get better from him.
I just believe that at some point he was, and I believed I could see that in him. I still do. I just think that time and effort, he could get that, but if he's not willing to pull that out of himself when he knows he's capable of it, then it is just a big loss. I'm not here to force anybody to do anything. That's a waste of my time. If I could be, uplifting other people who actually appreciate and admire it.
And we can just get Chuma's house.
Yeah. Wanna live with me, Lottie?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I live in Bush right now. I've gone back to my native land. The bush. Happy Pride Month.
There's a lot of bushes around Chumash.
Yeah, there are.
They're just a bit sandy.
I love ocean. I grew up in it. I'm glad you're dealing with this well.
I am. I really am.
You are a strong lady.
Because I have strong people around me. And I am very appreciative of that. I'm very lucky. push and dump somebody on the pier over there one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to do it for Denzel. Did you ever meet Denzel? You did, right?
Briefly. Yeah, briefly.
Yeah.
He was gonna help me.
Yeah, this is the Denzel family pier. The Williams family pier.
Wow. That's neat.
We should invite them. Divine over here.
Yeah. Where'd he go though? I haven't heard from him in ages.
He was around one day during Survivor and Tessa was talking to him. And then I tried calling him and
Whoa.
then he went already went to bed. What a doo-doo
Okay, I
head.
need to talk to Tessa. Well, it's a big doodle head.
Yeah. I also need to talk to Tessa. She ran into me on the day that it happened and she asked me how I was, and when I'm really emotional and people ask me how I am, I just start crying, and I just started crying.
Oh,
And you could see she was like a deer in headlights. She didn't know what to do, and I was just crying. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna give you the space you need right now. And I was so tired after that, and I just went to sleep, so I needed to talk to her.
yeah, definitely.
Do you know that Tessa voted out Luciano because he flirted with Carmela that day?
Oh. Huh. Maybe I should give her a call today.
I will. What's today?
Monday.
She's not around on Mondays.
Oh, yeah. True. Okay. Would you mind to take me to my car?
Yes, let's go. Have a hug.
Of course.
I love you, Lottie.
I love you too.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, of course. We can make our own little family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Me and you against the world.
exactly.